Sandy. Hey, Sandy.
Hey.
Hold on, let me put this louder. I got an phone now or earbuds.
I hear you.
Oh, there. That's much better. Much better. I was like having problems last time because I couldn't hear anybody. But anyways, yeah, I know that you're gonna call me out for not bringing any women on.
Yeah. Women's self-defense live stream in the middle of the day when most women are working.
Oh, no, wait a minute. This came on. Oh, so I got two people. Amanda. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Amanda's an old friend of mine from Jersey City. We got Dwayne. No. We did this during the snowstorm, the night of the snowstorm. And yeah, It was going long, and it was like you said, it's over a fucking hour long. And the only reason it was only an hour long is because the power went off, and I lost all internet.
It was an hour and a half. It was an hour and a half. I tried to watch it today, to find time to watch it today, so I had to skim through it. It was 1 hour and 30 minutes.
I got over 300 freaking views on that.
Well, we're going to do more on this one.
Yeah. Just I should, I'm going to request anybody that comes on here, just say hi, and tell any of your friends that come on here.
I can see some of my friends on here.
Yeah, tell them to say hi.
I see Jen, I see Cindy, I see Mike, I saw Chris.
Tell them to say hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
All right, everybody say hi. This is Ferdy.
Hey, everybody.
Ferdy and I go back about 8 years now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a martial artist from New Jersey.
No, I'm not a martial artist. I'm not a martial artist. I'm a martial artist. So there's an R there. There's an R there, not an H.
My friend knows you as martial artist because you park a car, okay?
Okay, yeah.
So, no, he's in the New Jersey, New York area. He does Filipino martial arts.
Yep.
Lots of sticks, lots of
blades.
Yeah, lots of sticks, lots of blades. Yes, I said lots of sticks, lots of blades. Yes, he's the first guy to ever hand me a blade in a demonstration and say, "Go ahead, attack him." Yeah. I had to make sure the blade wasn't sharp. I remember that.
Sharp, not sharp.
No.
Sharp.
Sharp.
Yes,
excuse me. Are we
SHARP.
Are we really going to pick on my accent today, Ferdy?
Oh, I pick on everybody's accent. I pick on everybody.
This is a guy who does a woman's No mercy. Okay, Cobra Kai, man.
Okay.
Sneak the leg, Johnny.
I cannot wait for that fucking show to come on. I'm going to subscribe to RedTube just because of that. Just because of that, I'm going to, and I'm rooting for Johnny.
Yeah.
I want Johnny to break the guy's leg, break Daniel's leg.
Oh, no. Yeah. Daniel's, no.
Yeah.
Gotta root for Daniel.
No way.
Gotta root for Daniel.
Daniel's a homo.
Oh my God,
I opened up a whole can of worms, huh?
That's another live stream, okay?
Yeah.
You want to?
Hold on, my friend Stan just came on. Stan, his name's Stan Chastic. He's another martial artist that I met down in Atlantic City. Great guy. Stan, say hello to Sandy. Type.
Hi.
But yeah.
Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Erica. Hi, everybody watching.
Yeah. So we are Sandy's going to share on women's self-defense, and like I said in my earlier videos, there is a difference. There is a difference between an attack against a man and an attack against a woman. Guys are always going to assume that the other guy's going to fight. Where not so with the women, unless it's Sandy.
Well, no, I'm not a fighter.
I know, you're a lover. You're a warrior.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter, but I can fight. I can fight. No, I was telling Ferdy a story. A friend of mine and I were training when we were in our 20s, and he had gotten into a fight at a bar or whatever the case may be, and he was explaining his side of the story. He's like, "You don't understand this. It's an adrenaline rush, when you're getting in a fight, because the guy's coming at you and he's going, and you just know this is going to happen. It's this rush of adrenaline." And I said, for a woman, it's different. We don't get that. We get we get the initial fight or flight, and then afterwards we freak out because we don't know what could have happened. He goes, "What do you mean? When you get in a fight, when a guy gets in a fight, two guys get in a fight, they size each other up beforehand. It's They know the other person's going to fight, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to fight. So they're always like, you ready to go? You ready to go? You ready to go? So you have that time for an adrenaline rush. You have that time for a build-up.
Make your move. Make your move, motherfucker. Oh,
you make your move, yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. You ready? You ready? You want a piece of me? You know, you have that back and forth before it actually happens. Back and forth. But when a woman is attacked, it's not a fight anymore. It's an attack. She's just grabbed, and she has to immediately defend herself. So there is no thought process involved. She has to use instinct right away. So there's no time. So there's a difference between a man engaging in a fight and a woman being, just blindsided by an attack. And that's usually what happens with a woman. So teaching self-defense to a woman, you have to teach her how to be instinctive rather than how to fight. You know? It's just that simple. If that makes sense.
Okay, so how do you teach them to be instinctive?
Okay, well, I have taught self-defense classes before. I used to be a military wife, and I was in a military town in North Carolina. Hey, thanks, Tanya. And one of the things, the first thing I would ask when I would start the class would be, what do you think I'm going to teach you today?
Kick ass. Kick ass.
Yeah, kick ass, kicks, punch. You're going to teach us how to choke somebody out. You're going to teach us how to beat somebody down.
You're going to teach me how to sweep the leg.
Yes, sweep the leg. And I would always say, I would always say, no, I'm not going to teach you how to kick and punch because this is the only class you're ever going to be in unless you train. You know, my kicks, my punches are only effective because I trained how many hours, how long. I would stand in a classroom and I'd throw a kick and my instructor would correct any positioning problems, any power problems. I can remember taking a class with an instructor one-on-one. I said, all I want to do is kick a bag today. He goes, okay. And we spent an hour practicing how to kick, how to add more power to the kick.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is Tanya your friend?
Tanya's my cousin.
Oh, your cousin? Well, you better teach her.
Oh, I know. We talked about that. We'll have to get together because we will. Yeah. But so
bring her to my gathering.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, there you go.
We spent an hour just going over how to process a kick correctly, and then he put me up against a bag, and I was slamming that bag around the room. It cannot just be taught to you in one hour seminar. So when these girls were like, "Oh, you're going to teach me how to punch. You're going to teach me how to kick," I was going, "No, I'm going to teach you how to use what you already know." And to be able to protect yourself with what you already know. And the first thing we did was you mentioned it, situation awareness, And I watched a video and Tom even agreed with me on that one where
Tom?
You can't just have some
Who's Tom?
Tom Gallo. Tom.
No, I'm just messing with you.
We're gonna call him Tom.
Tom.
He even made a comment about it where girls come into these, self-defense classes and they're only doing one, that in order for them to become effective, they need to go to more and more and more. But the problem is women don't always want to go to more and more and more. To be a martial artist, you have to have a passion for it.
I love the way you say that. I love the way you say that.
You have to have a passion. You have to have the desire to go into a dojo daily, weekly, whatever the case may be, and just over and over and over again do the same technique. Listen to the same words over and over and over again. Let them sink in. You have to be able to have the desire to fail in order to be able to, to succeed. And that's like you were saying in your video and when you were talking, is like a lot of people, they go into a dojo and they're thinking, oh, it was Tom that said it. They go into a dojo and they're thinking, oh, they're going to learn the jump kicks and the stuff that looks great, right away. And they don't want to do the basics. You have to be willing to do the basics every single day, even when you're whether you're a white belt, a yellow belt, an orange belt, a green belt, a brown belt, or a black belt, to know that you need to re-practice those basics every single day because those are what, of course, the foundation to be able to do those incredible moves.
Yeah.
Okay? But here's the kicker. All those incredible moves, they're not going to be what saves your ass. And they're not going to be what saves your ass on the street, okay?
The Flash? Flash doesn't work? Are you serious?
No.
You mean
You're
that
sleeping
back
that way?
spinning kick ain't gonna work?
No, and the kicking with your feet above your head, oh my God, does not work.
Oh, you mean I'm not?
Does not
You
work.
mean I'm not supposed to kick above my waist? Is that what you're telling me?
No, no. Do you know how you kick somebody in the head and make it effective?
I don't know. You bring them down and you put them on the
You
ground
kick
and
them
you
in the
stomp
groin
them.
so they bend over.
Yeah.
No, you kick them in the groin so they bend over.
Okay.
That's how you kick to the head is effective.
I don't want them to. Yeah. Oh, Tanya said she's coming. She's definitely there. Yeah, Tanya.
Yeah,
Side note. I'm sorry, Sandy. Just side note for any of the women listening and any women that will be listening. Women that do martial arts are fucking hot. They're just totally hot. Believe me. Only a true guy.
Fucking gorgeous right now.
Only a true man will appreciate a woman doing martial arts.
You know what? No. They're hot when they're in the dojo doing it.
Yeah.
They're hot when they're in the dojo. Yeah. I got hit on a lot just because I was taking a punch and could give a punch back. Yeah, I remember that.
That's pretty hot. Hey, my friend Sean.
No.
Sean's watching. Oh, Skip is too.
I've got my friend Mike. He's also a martial artist, and he's a martial artist because he's from Rhode Island.
Is he?
Hi, Mike.
Is he watching? Tell him to say hello.
Yeah, he's watching.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Paladou, say hello. Matt's here. Cheryl's here.
Yeah.
Anyone here, say hi so Freddie can see you. Because
Tanya
does.
Yeah, don't be like ninjas. Come on out.
Tanya's trying to get her mom on here to watch. That's why she tagged her mom.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But nobody's being ninja. They're just watching.
Yeah, Tanya. Oh, she's got the wave.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Her and I were talking actually last summer, and we were talking about training. But all right, Tanya, I'll have to get up with you. We'll have to start something, okay?
Yes, you got to start something. You should put it live on Facebook so we can watch. You know, we'll critique you. No, we won't.
Yeah, this is like at 5 seconds after Ferdy's going, women doing martial arts hot. We'll put it live.
Yeah.
No, but back to the women's self-defense. If you want to learn self-defense to protect yourself, go in with the mindset that you're not go in with the mindset that you're not going to be kicking and punching and learning all that. Like I said, when I would teach women self-defense in a military town, we talk about, like you said, situational awareness, knowing what's going on around you. And I would always tell the women, I'd be like, look down at the floor. What are we standing on? And if we're standing on carpet or if we were standing on tile, I would say, you know what a footstep sounds like on this material. So recognize that. Recognize that someone's coming up behind you. Don't just ignore the sound. Hear the sound. So what I would suggest they do is when they were out in their everyday life, listen to what was going on around them and make note of it. Don't just ignore it, because that stuff there, that's going to help you. Is somebody coming up behind you? Do you hear footsteps behind you? Is there supposed to be somebody coming up behind you? If the answer is no, then you know that you might need to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But the first thing is now you're already aware of it. You're not going to be surprised. Next thing is look around, see where you are. You know, your choices. Do you go down a dark alley because it's a shortcut, or should you go down the lighted street that's going to take you a couple extra minutes? Make those decisions. Make decisions that you know are smart. Never put yourself in a spot that you're going to be attacked. You know, that's rule number one. We would go over some other things, you know, physical contact, and those physical contact are always the dirty fighting, what people call dirty fighting. You know, the eye gouging, the groin stomps, you know, the knee to the groin and stuff like that. Yeah.
Why did I put my hands above my head? Oh, you said that.
Because as soon as you even mention the word knee to the groin, you know how it feels. So Matt,
guys are like,
the guys know how.
That's guys. It's like an automatic reaction. Like, oh no, yeah, you can gouge my hands out. Just don't touch the family jewels. You know.
So that's why it should be an automatic reaction when a girl's being attacked, is somehow attack that area of their body. That's the most painful part. That's where it's going to hurt the most. You know?
Yeah.
Attack there.
Yeah.
and of course, we all know the rule, and we were talking about this yesterday, is if you're being attacked, you have to choose whether to fight or not fight from the beginning.
All right. Yeah. Elaborate more on that for everybody.
Okay, so what the theory is, or not theory, it's kind of proven. If you're being attacked,
the strategy is probably.
The strategy. Okay. Thank you. If you're being attacked and you fight from the beginning, most of the time the man who's attacking you does not want somebody who's going to fight. He's expecting a woman who cannot fight. And there have been time and time again where all the woman had to do was just fight back a little bit, and the guy would just take off because he did not want a confrontation. You know, whether it was that he didn't want to get hurt by the woman, or he didn't want to be, you know, someone to hear that there was a confrontation going on and he'd be caught. So just the fact that she fought back a little bit, he'd just take off. But if you are ever attacked, you know, say especially physically, sexually attacked, and you decide to not fight and then in the middle of it begin to fight, that's when the guy's going to become more aggressive, because now he's mad. Now he thinks he was getting what he wanted. And that's where most women a lot of times end up getting really, really hurt or actually killed. And it's because they don't fight initially, and then in the middle they start to fight. And that's when the guy's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I wanted what I wanted. And now he gets mad. So they say you either make the choice to fight originally, or you make the choice to give in, because that's the only two ways that you have a chance to survive.
You know, I was just thinking, okay, so like what were you saying? Like if in the middle, you know, the woman starts to want to fight and makes that commotion, I think the guy's going to say like, hey, I got to shut this bitch up. Excuse my language. I got to shut her up. You know, I don't want to, you know. So it'd be like eliminating the witness, so it can go even worse. So yeah.
Yeah.
You're
but
right,
if you fight from the get-go,
yeah.
If you fight from the get-go, the most likely going to be like, oh, wasn't expecting this. I got to get away from this.
Yeah, that.
You know.
Yeah, it's not worth the trouble.
I told you about almost getting mugged a couple of months ago.
I told you I almost got mugged a couple of months ago too.
You know.
What is with
and
this?
I just started yelling at the guy that I could see that.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, one. I didn't even have to touch him. He didn't have to touch me. Mm-hmm. You know, but I started screaming at him, and his friend who was with him literally said these words, dude, she ain't worth it, and they walked away. Mm-hmm. You know?
No. Only one guy tried to mug me. You had, like, what, 2, 3?
3. 3 guys, yeah, it was a tag team.
Yeah, but you had some guy that was going to back you up, too.
Yeah, well, he didn't know it until I said he was.
Yeah.
He was just some guy standing there, and I screamed, this guy's going to back me up.
That was good, though. That was smart.
Well, you know, sometimes surviving is not about fighting, and that's what I would try to teach these women in the self-defense courses. There is a difference between self-defense and fighting.
Hey, Bob Martin's watching. I might bring him on too later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Later.
Hi Jeff. Hi Stephanie. Hi Chuck. I can see a few friends are watching. If anybody's on here, just write a little comment and say hi so that Ferdy. This is my friend Ferdy. He can see that you're on here.
Yeah.
This is his live stream. He does his videos a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
And then
get my friends on.
Does self-defense for women with 4 men, and I have to get on here going, no. You have to have a woman's point of view on this one.
From a woman's point of view. Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, I think I did message you. I don't know if I probably did try to invite you, but that was like the night of the snowstorm. That was the night of the snowstorm.
I was doing something. I was definitely doing something when you did that. I thought I was at work, but
it was.
Whatever the case may be, I couldn't.
I mean, it was pretty good because, you know, like it was long. You know, I think also a lot of women when they expect to have like a magic formula coming out saying like, yeah, I can kick ass now. I can, you know. And what we were talking about, what everybody was talking about in our last broadcast was that, you know, it's kind of like these seminars, you know, no matter what type of seminar, be it, you know, women's self-defense, or even when I do a seminar for a colleague or, you know, a jiu-jitsu seminar, they're always kind of like teasers, right, to get you to, you know, become a student. And, and you can't,
Oh
you
God,
can't
yeah.
really like depend on, unless you make it like a regular thing, where, all right, you're doing these classes and they don't even have, you know what I mean, women don't even have to, do the martial arts, just do the self-defense aspect of it, because everybody equates martial arts with self-defense with martial arts, but self-defense is only like, to me, it's only a part of the martial arts. The martial arts is so much it's such a large and big subject. I mean, people understand that there's even the healing factors of it. There's a lot. Because
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
back in the old days, the ancient days, this was a way of life for warriors. No matter
Yep.
where, no matter what culture it was. I believe everybody equates martial arts as being something from the Orient, something from Asia, but to me, I think that every culture in every country has their own martial art. It's just that which cultures and which countries developed it, which how it went. I mean,
Exactly.
you had like the Vikings. There were warriors. As long as mankind's been around, there's always been war. There's always been warfare. So there's always gonna be a type of fighting style and martial art
Mhm.
that's going to be developed. So going back to that, I think that when women they take these classes, I think they have to do it religiously, right? And more now than ever because of the way that the world is now. I mean, it's it wasn't like when we were growing up, when we were kids. I'm 52 years old. Okay, I remember when I was growing up. I can go out, I can ride my bike, I can, we played until, until it was dark during the summer. We used to play hide and seek in cemeteries, crazy shit like that. Now you can't, and I would go play outside. I was 5, 6, 7 years old. Now you can't let a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid play outside by themselves. You gotta watch them, because the world is it's just crazy. It's not like, you trust your kid, you just don't trust the crazies out there. So I mean,
Now, I
yeah,
agree with you that the world is changing,
yeah.
but I disagree that women have to train religiously to be able to protect themselves.
Well,
Because, like I
what
said,
I'm saying is like, don't depend on like one or two classes. Okay, that's what I'm
well,
saying.
actually, it's not so much a class. It's like I said, teaching them how to fight dirty. I'm going to tell you, I remember this. I will never forget this. And I was not like this religious fanatic of this person. Hi, Mike. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Caitlin. I was not a
Happy
religious
birthday,
fanatic
Caitlin.
of this person, but there's a martial artist very famous who used to say these exact words. There is no such thing as dirty fighting when
Oh
life
yeah,
and death is on the line.
that's true. That's true.
That's
That's
Bruce Lee.
absolutely true.
Bruce Lee Bruce Lee was not a traditional fighter where he would kick and punch and he'd make it look good. That was all acting. That was all choreographed. That was all for the movie. What he taught his students, because he was a teacher and he was a very good teacher, what he taught them was what would work if they were out on the street and they got into a fight with somebody on the street. What they needed to do.
Yeah.
It didn't have to look good. It just had to work.
Yeah, Bruce Lee
And that's
actually
what
said that. Yeah, Bruce Lee actually said that. If it looks beautiful, it probably isn't functional.
yeah. And he meant that.
But
What works on the street is not necessarily what we learn in the dojo. I mean, yeah, we do. We learn our kicks, we learn our punches, we learn our katas, but now katas have changed from what their
oh
intent was originally.
yeah,
You
that
know?
I truly believe in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because katas used to be, if they would be a recreation of a battle. So someone would watch the battle, write down what had happened, and then they would create a kata to basically do a play of the battle. Then they were transformed into let's show you how techniques can work together. So they were made up, and now they're made to just like so they can look good and you can win a trophy.
okay.
And a good portion of them because now we've gone from a time when I was a kid, it was traditional. You had the Pinyan 1, Pinyan 2, Circle of the Tiger, Statue of the Crane. You had the same forms. everybody was learning, same katas, everybody was learning, and they would all take those katas to tournaments, and it was who was doing the better statue of the crane, who could, like, perfect it. That
That's
was the person who walked away with the trophy.
Daniel-san.
Statue of the crane. There's But now you go to a tournament and it's like a totally choreographed kata. Somebody's made it up so that it's their own personal kata.
And there's music to it too.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that. And then there's music to it. Yeah, there's music.
And they have DJs there too, and I'm like, ooh.
So now we're doing a dance.
We won't do the DJ thing. I won't go there.
Yeah, but then that takes away from the tradition. That takes away from the past of what it was actually meant to be. To show what happened and what worked in a battle, to now just make it look good. And that goes back to the whole Bruce Lee statement. If it looks beautiful, it's not functional.
Yeah, Bruce Lee.
Yeah. So when you take that mindset into teaching women how to protect themselves, you're not trying to get them to take a class over and over and over again. You're trying to teach them, how.
Well, a lot of teachers want them to come back. A lot of teachers want them to come back. It's good for business. It's good for business.
Okay, all right. Let's be honest, Ferdy. How many women have you met that want to train passionately, and how many men have you met that train passionately?
Oh, I know.
There's a great deal more men.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course. But you're getting these women that you're getting these teachers that are trying to get them to, like, make it more of a lifestyle.
Okay, but here's the problem. If I'm a woman who's just looking to be able to learn how to protect myself on a day-to-day situation, and I'm told, hey, come to my self-defense seminar, I'm expecting to learn things that are actually going to protect me. And if I go into this seminar and I'm taught, just a small amount of what they could teach you in the school, and then they try to sell me on becoming a student, I'm going to walk out of there. If I'm not interested in being a student, I'm going to feel like I just got used. And that I absolutely learned nothing, and that this was a bad sales pitch. Why would I ever go back to another self-defense seminar?
Okay, like, they're gonna, a lot of, like, these seminars, they give you good stuff. They give you good stuff, and they try to pique your interest to say, hey, would you like to?
Oh wait a minute. Good stuff. Look at the video you sent me from my own state.
Oh, well, that's different. That's not good stuff. Okay.
No, that's not different. That's
terrible.
That was not different. That's the norm. That is the norm for women.
I don't know. When I do seminars, I don't do it like that. I think my seminars are good. Yeah.
Neither do I. But then again, I spend a lot of time talking in my seminars about how they should look around and be aware of their environment, not so much what they need to do if they're physically attacked, because I want them to not be attacked.
But then, but then again, like, yeah, I have to say, like, a lot of the seminars that I've taught have been, seasoned martial artists, black belts, even some, so yeah, that's why. I've never really taught a women's, I've taught, like.
Well, I have.
I've taught, like, an improvised weapon thing, but everybody there, they were all martial artists, and they were usually like black belt, first dan and above. You've seen.
So they
like,
already had. Yeah, I've seen your one seminar is not enough. No, Richie, I'm not saying it's enough to be able to fight, but it's enough to give yourself an ability to understand what's going on around you.
Richie
I would
is,
never teach.
Yeah, Richie is.
I'm answering. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to let you know that Richie, he's a proponent of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and he's he's the president of the Helio Gracie Jiu-Jitsu fan club of New Jersey.
My point that I was trying to say, Richie, is that to be able to fight and to be confident in your ability to fight and confident in your kicks and your punches, yes, you have to train over and over again. You have to walk into a dojo over and over and over again and do that. Like, Richie, no, I'm not. But when you're a woman who's only interested in and learning how is going to only walk into one seminar, then let's teach them what they can do with that one seminar, because you might only have them for that 1 hour. And let's make sure that then when they walk out, they have learned something that might protect them and save themselves. You know, that's the point that I'm making.
You're the best, Rich.
Okay.
No, Richie.
I have no idea where we're going with this.
Richie is a judo guy. He's a judo.
Oh.
He's big time judo.
Oh, so Richie's American Kempo then?
No, judo. Oh, he did Kempo, but Richie did Kempo, but he did a different, like, I don't know. He'd have to explain it.
I'm only kidding.
You'd have to explain it.
I know, because he said judo. You said he was judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so I was going to pick on him.
He is.
No. Is Richie Taekwondo?
No. Richie's a judo guy. Richie's a big guy. He's like me, but he's just taller. He's really cool. Which is like, you know.
I'm picking on him, Ferdy. I'm just picking on him.
He's a really good guy, you know.
No, hey, anybody who trains in anything, yes, I didn't Kempo, not Ed Parker.
Yeah, he did Kempo. It wasn't Ed Parker. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've done Kempo as well, Richie. That was what I started out with. It was a Chinese Kempo, so I'm just, that's why it's an American Kempo. Anyone who trains in anything has my respect, okay? Because it's not just the physical component, it's the mental, it's the spiritual, it's the discipline. You have my respect if you train in anything. Where ego comes in is when people think, huh?
Even ballet.
Well, yeah. But where ego comes in is when people think that what they know is the best and there's nothing else to learn. Mm-hmm. And then they try to express that to other people and could actually end up causing more harm than good, like we said, that video that we watched of the gun disarmament.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. That was, what was that girl's name? You know what? I usually don't say names. I don't say names, but her name's got to be put out because, you know why? Because, you know, she's going to get people. Ew.
No, honey, no. Honey. Rhode Island's very small.
Oh, I don't care. I'm in Jersey. All right. I don't know. I forgot her name.
Oh, yeah. I'm in Rhode Island. Okay.
Yeah, but
Rhode Island's very small. No, I'm not afraid of her, but I don't want to. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Like I said, everybody who trains has my respect, so I don't want to disrespect anybody by calling out by name.
Oh my
but
God,
when you're teaching a gun disarmament, and you're disarming a person while you're standing directly right in front of the gun, and
your arms are stretched. Your arms are stretched out, and you don't move out of the line of fire. You don't move out of the line of fire. That's the big one.
My biggest problem with this is all of those women that were in that self-defense seminar are not martial artists.
Yeah.
They do not train on a day-to-day basis, and they walked out of there thinking that they knew what they could do if somebody ever came at them with a gun.
Yeah. False security. That's a big thing in the martial arts, I think, was false security, you know.
Yes. All right, well, I do need to go because I have a child to get off to bed.
Okay, I was hoping that I'm going to stay